Hey, what's up guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video, and happy Friday to everybody. I hope everybody is going to have an enjoyable 3-day weekend because of the Labor Day holiday or whatnot. So for those of you guys that are lucky enough to have a 3-day weekend or whatnot, just I hope you guys have a good time and everything like that. And for everybody that doesn't have a 3-day weekend due to the specific type of job you do or whatever the case may be, I hope you guys have a safe and wonderful weekend, and I hope that you end up having some more time off later on when the rest of us have to work, because that's actually how it used to be back when I used to serve tables. But anyway, that's enough about that. I want to get into the topic of the discussion because it seems like it's not really talked about all that much. Now granted, I will say this right off the bat, yes, I have seen the leaked gameplay, the 6 or 7 minute gameplay of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Yes, I do have my opinions and feelings on the matter, but I am still choosing as of right now to hold my feelings back up until we get the official reveal, because I guess it's going to be like an event. Now, if it's going to be like a trailer, I'm sure there's going to be a hell of a lot more that's going to be shown in the trailer / reveal event coming up on Wednesday, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing, and I will see it when it gets as soon as it's released. So because of the pandemic, we don't know exactly how it's going to be. In previous years, it's been pretty much an event that every single Call of Duty player that is into multiplayer, which I believe is the majority of us, that is going to have their eyes peeled for an official look-see, so to speak. Because as of right now, it's all but been revealed, because thanks to this footage that this guy supposedly streamed accidentally, we got a lot of info about the game, especially when you look deep into it, and when you pause the gameplay or whatnot, you can look at all the things in between or some of the screenshots that have been leaked and all that kind of stuff. But again, I'm going to reserve my judgment until on Wednesday or after Wednesday, as previously stated in my last video. But there's something that I find very interesting right now, and that is the fact that Sledgehammer Games, even though they're on a label that basically says that they're one of the development companies that worked on the game, it just seems like it's like they kind of just disappeared. I wonder if they got fired, or if they're just working on something else secretly, or if we're ever going to see them again, or whatever the hell happened. Because originally I was under the impression, especially since with all the information that was coming out previously, that I was covering as well, when I used to upload a hell of a lot more than I do now, I was under the impression that that Black Ops Cold War was a game that was basically originally developed by the combination of Sledgehammer and Raven, and then basically originally I think it was said that Raven was eliminated, or Raven got taken out of the picture or something like that, or they just kind of got pushed aside, and Sledgehammer and Treyarch ended up taking over, but Sledgehammer was helping them out. But then all of a sudden it seems like it's a Sledgehammer Raven thing, and excuse me, a Treyarch and Raven project, and it seems like Sledgehammer's name has all but disappeared from the scene. So I'm starting to wonder. And by the way, this is brand spanking new gameplay of Call of Duty World War II. And yes, I have, as for the last week or so now, I've been playing Call of Duty again, and I've been spending the majority of my time in World War II. As a matter of fact, I haven't even touched Black Ops 4 yet, or Black Ops 3. So I'm sure there's gonna be a time where I will touch those games whenever the mood strikes. But and even with World War II, I have, with Sledgehammer Games in World War II overall, from a gaming standpoint, I have my back and forth with them, and looking back at it now, I certainly do appreciate and respect the change they made to their games when they were released, because they were changes that were made for the better, specifically the World War II overhaul, which was by far the biggest overhaul and change in Call of Duty history in terms of the multiplayer gameplay and all that stuff. So I definitely respect Sledgehammer Games for doing that, because it made World War II all the better. I mean, if there were a couple little changes here and there, maybe 2 or 3 different changes, I have no doubt that World War II could have been the next Black Ops 2, so to speak. I think it really would have hit that level, but the maps were just not quite as good. Because of that, I think the spawn system was a little off. I mean, it certainly wasn't like a terrible spawn system. It wasn't as bad as Ghost spawns, or as bad as Modern Warfare 2019 spawns, but still there's still a good amount of unpredictability with that, and things happening that shouldn't happen. But with that being said, the score streaks could have been better, and they could have added a little bit more, and they could have been a lot more lethal, and among a few other things. But in terms of how community friendly Sledgehammer Games was, how in the world can you not respect that, right? I mean, because like, at least Sledgehammer Games was humble enough to basically like after Condrey and Schofield were gone, the man that was in charge basically put the brakes on the whole thing and basically gave the community what they wanted, and it was the best that they could have possibly done given their situation. And it happened decently fast after after basically Condrey and Schofield left. It was known that they were going to do an overhaul, and my goodness, they kept their word, and they certainly did it. And I know that there are a few of you guys that watch my stuff. Some of you guys are content creators, some of you guys are not, but for the most part, I do know that there are a good amount of you that are absolute fans of Sledgehammer games, and I really like to think that a big reason for that is because of the way the community was treated under them, because for the most part, especially, like I said, especially after Condrey and Schofield left, and even beforehand, they were actually the most humble out of the three developers that work on Call of Duty. I think Infinite Warfare, in terms of how the community was treated, I think Infinite Warfare was by far the prime. Ghost was another one as well. Ghost was actually, when Ghost came out, if you look at their DLC compared to their regular maps and some of the cool stuff that they put into the game, like the Michael Myers thing and everything like that, when you put that into play, I mean, so was Infinity Ward back during the Ghosts and Infinite Warfare days, believe it or not. I know a lot of you hate Infinite Warfare. I know that there's a decent amount of you that actually like Infinite Warfare, like myself, but most of the community absolutely hates it, and they think I'm absolutely crazy when I say that in terms of this Infinity Ward, the guys that basically took over after Zampella and West were out of the scene, I would say the Infinite Warfare Infinity Ward team was not only the most community friendly, but also overall the best developers, in my humble opinion. I know that advanced movement was a huge turnoff for a lot of people, but if you were to take advanced movement out of the picture, because apparently they basically built off of what Black Ops 3 did and they put their own spin on it, and if you look at it that way, they did a damn good job, and in some ways even better. Like, for instance, the microtransaction system and the weapons and stuff like that. Some of you guys didn't like that, but I think it was a hell of a lot better than what Treyarch did with Black Ops 3. But the thing is, going back to Sledgehammer, I kind of find myself being a little bit sad, because if they all of a sudden have disappeared or whatnot, and they don't have their own studio anymore, and we're not going to see them make their own Call of Duty anymore, to me, it kind of seems like a really, it's really overall bitter. I was almost about to say bittersweet, but overall, looking at it, it was bitter. I mean, because when you look at it, Sledgehammer Games, after World War II went through its overhaul, they were in a really good position to make the ultimate Call of Duty that all of us could have been happy with, because obviously they learned from Advanced Warfare, they learned from World War II. The overhaul in World War II was the biggest piece of evidence that basically, hey, this is the game that was built under Condrey and Schofield. You know, we did an overhaul and we did the best we could with this game. But if those guys were given the opportunity from scratch, and that with that state of mind after Schofield and Condrey left, to create their own, Call of Duty one more time, I think they would have definitely hit a home run on their third try, especially without the one-sidedness of Schofield and Condrey, or maybe just Condrey, because Condrey was the one who's communicating. I don't know. I think Schofield might have been. I don't know if he was like the guy that just had as much power as Condrey, or if he was like maybe the second man in charge. I don't know. But whatever the deal was. But again, even going back to Condrey, and again, I'm not ripping on Condrey whatsoever. I mean, he's a hell of a lot more community friendly than what's his name, Joe Secott, or Cesat, or however you say his name. So, and a lot more open to the idea of, hey, maybe you should put this into the game, or let's listen to your community. But I will say that I will give a 0.1%. I will give a 0.1% of a benefit of a doubt to Joe Secott, and you never know. He could be, he could be very well being given these orders by Activision. You never know. But at the same time, you got Condrey on the other hand, that has basically gone on record saying, hey, not on my watch, and he proved that. He actually proved that with World War II. I'm sure Activision was money hungry when it came down to the microtransactions, especially after the money they made from Black Ops 3, right? And I'm sure Activision wanted to rinse and repeat like they always do. But if you think about it, World War II was basically a Schofield and Condrey project. So therefore, that's proof right there that it really wouldn't have been under his watch. So, and I gotta respect Condrey for that, for not doing the same microtransaction system for weapons and stuff like that Black Ops 3 did. And they released after Black Ops 3. Actually, it was after Infinite Warfare. So, that just goes to show you, Infinite Warfare was the first to do the kind of system that they did, and then World War II did their own thing. So I don't know. It really makes you think, like what causes, like, why are some, if Activision is always in charge, then why are some years just worse than others in terms of the system? I mean, I don't know. And how often do the Activision team or part of the Activision development team take over? You know, because in Infinity Ward, they didn't have any skill-based matchmaking. In World War II, there was no skill-based matchmaking. So, and Black Ops 3, there wasn't. So it just makes you kind of think a little bit about pretty much the entire thing and why things happen the way they do. And that's why I said I'd give Joe Secott like a 0.1% benefit of the doubt that this all may be Activision. Or you never know. The guy might be greedy too. Activision might have said, yeah, this is your choice, but at the same time, yeah, we're going to give you an extra 6 figures or something like that if you do this or some shit like that. You never know. I'm just speculating at this point, but as you guys know, with an unpredictable, with everything being possible with Call of Duty in terms of whether the game is really that good or really that bad, or the decision making that they make and all that kind of stuff, anything and everything and anything can happen. Seriously. Even the pros themselves are limited on their power and stuff like that. So when I put everything together and I'm looking at what's happening today with Call of Duty and where we were just a few years ago, you really can't help but respect Sledgehammer Games for being the developers that they were at least able to be as fair as possible with the community. Their games might have not been perfect. I will be the first to say that, respectfully so. Their games were definitely not perfect. But at the same time, especially when you look at the way Modern Warfare was developed and what we may get with Black Ops Cold War, which again I'll go more in depth in the next video after the reveal, or who knows, I might make another video before then if I get the itch. But the thing is that when you look at everything and you piece everything together, out of all the 3 development companies, they ended up being the most community friendly, and that's how they went out. If they're done, if they are finished, if these guys are finished and we never see them again in terms of the entire crew of that group, whether or who knows, maybe they just got divided, like, hey, you guys will go to Infinity Ward, you guys will go at Treyarch, you guys will go at Raven, who knows, maybe they're just not under the same development team anymore, and who knows, it's all possible. But if there's any slight chance that anybody in the development team that made COD World War II or Advanced Warfare is listening to this, I just wanted to say personally, as a Call of Duty fan and as somebody who's been making Call of Duty content for over 5 years now here on YouTube, as well as streaming the game, I actually just wanted to say thank you to you guys on the team for being as community friendly as you possibly could be, because we know right now at this point there is definitely pieces of evidence to suggest that the developers are not fully in charge of every single decision. But for you guys being as community friendly as you could be and succeeding at it at times where, Activision wants to be greedy as hell and all that kind of stuff, I don't know what you did. I don't know what went on. I don't know what kind of leverage you may or may not have had in terms of that decision, in terms of the microtransactions and other decisions that were made in terms of the game's development and in terms of the way the game would profit off of money. But whatever happened, thank you for being the most community-friendly team out of the 3. So this was kind of a love letter to Sledgehammer Games, and at the same time, I'm starting to wonder, like, what the hell happened. So for you guys, let me know if you feel the same way. For those of you guys watching this video, let me know which Sledgehammer Games title specifically out of the 2 was your favorite. I mean, I know Advanced Warfare is greatly hated among the community. Me, for instance, I thought the advanced movement that it provided was really good for the time that it was, and when you got the hang of it, it was a lot of fun. I know the skill-based matchmaking in the beginning really ruined that game, but the thing is, if you go back and play Advanced Warfare now, it's like that skill-based matchmaking doesn't exist, and don't be surprised if you end up having a lot more fun with it than you originally did because of that. And let's not mention the fact that there was no button layout like a stick and move or a bumper jumper to kind of make the game a lot more fun to people that couldn't use a SCUF controller, that couldn't afford one, or an Elite controller. So, and I was on both ends of that. So the game became a lot more fun after I got an Elite controller, which I do not use anymore. I just use a regular controller now. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this one. I want your opinions and thoughts on the matter to be known. Some of you guys might know more than I do in terms of what's going on, but I just seem so dumbfounded. It's just so kind of interesting how all of a sudden it's like poof, they were completely gone when you know, originally I was under the assumption that they were the right-hand team of Treyarch. You know, they were in charge originally with Raven, and then all of a sudden Treyarch took over, and I thought it was just going to be Treyarch and Sledgehammer, but apparently that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, obviously there were 6 teams working on this, but just imagine, like, how much of Sledgehammer Games is going to be left in this new Call of Duty coming out. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you, as always, for continuing to watch my videos as well as the support. I hope you have a great and safe weekend, and if I don't see you on stream, stay safe out there. And this is Jack, signing off.